A month before Iran's presidential elections, one mother wants to know why her son was killed for speaking out.
یک مادری داغ دیده هستم، رنج کشیده هستم، پرستارم بود، همه کسم بود، نون آورم بود، بیگناه کشتنش.
Gohar's son, Sattar Beheshti, was a labourer from a small city just south of Tehran. In October 2011, he started writing a personal blog on human rights in Iran. A year later, he was dead. The police took Sattar in for questioning on October the 30th, 2012. The following week, a prison official rang his family and told them, buy a grave and collect his body. How Sattar died is still a mystery. Sattar is not the only Iranian journalist to have died in custody, and many have experienced mock executions, forced confessions, and long periods of solitary confinement. Some imprisoned journalists have resorted to hunger strikes to protest their harsh conditions and abusive treatment. The Iranian government has called independent journalists spies and informers for foreign powers. The authorities have blocked websites and jammed foreign broadcasters. Strict laws and guidelines have been used to curb any voice of dissent. Families of journalists, even those working outside Iran, have been threatened, arrested, and imprisoned. At least 68 Iranian journalists fled into exile between 2007 and 2012 because of harassment and the threat of imprisonment. CPJ's annual census has documented a dramatic rise in the number of imprisoned Iranian journalists over recent years. In the early 2000s, the annual total of imprisoned journalists was in single figures. Once Ahmadinejad became president in 2005, the numbers leapt, doubling after the disputed 2009 elections. But these shocking figures don't tell the full story. Huge numbers of columnists, bloggers and editors have been charged with crimes that seem outlandish, absurd and Orwellian. Of the 40 currently imprisoned journalists, 18 face charges of spreading propaganda against the state, 8 for acting against national security, 3 for insulting the supreme leader, 1 for insulting the president, 1 for espionage in connection with Israel, and 1 for waging war against God. At least 8 of the jailed journalists have not even been informed of the charges against them. Around 2/3 of imprisoned Iranian journalists are being held in Evin prison, famous for rape, torture and executions. Following recent complaints, members of the Iranian parliament toured the site and concluded that the conditions were so good, they nicknamed it Hotel Evin. Sattar Beheshti spent at least one night in Evin before his death. In 2013, the Iranian government began a new wave of detentions. The intelligence minister announced that the arrests were to prevent the emergence of sedition prior to the elections. It's an ominous sign for journalists who are now asking how they can safely cover the presidential campaign. But for Sattar's mother, the only question that matters is why did speaking out end in her son's death?
هیچ مسئولی تا حال هیچ کس از وقتی ستار من کشته شده حالا من نیومدن. میخوام یک دادگاهی علنی باشه و مردمی و عادلانه. آیا میخوام ببینم بچه‌های من گناهشون چیه؟ آیا نه فقط ستار من، هزارون ستارا.